Now another chance to see this evening's Star Test.
Hello, Stephen.
Hello.
Welcome to Star Test, the computer interview. It's just the two of us here, but viewers will be phoning in during the show to vote on whether or not you are telling the truth.
Ha.
If they believe you, there will be the chance to play your chosen clip. If not, a mystery forfeit will appear in its place. So please try to answer my questions honestly. There are 9 categories of questions. Please select a category by simply touching the screen.
Right. Oh, law. Honour and justice. I like the sound of that.
Please choose any number.
7.
How good a liar are you?
I think I'm pretty good at lying. Thing is, you see, I sound hopelessly moralistic here, but I don't think there is such a thing as a good liar. Liars are bad people. Liars should be spanked. Lying is wrong. Lying is wicked. Lying leads to injustice and unpleasantness. So, on the whole, I'm inclined to think that a good liar is, by definition, a bad liar. So perhaps I should say I'm a bad liar. Is that too complicated? Or you'd understand it. Number 4.
To what extent do you judge people on first meeting?
Well, I try so hard not to. I firmly believe that most people are decent. I don't, you know, sometimes you meet someone and you think that man is a howling You're convinced that he's the most unpleasant you've met. You know, recently I was at a party where somebody was present who everybody absolutely loathed and thought was a complete and because he seemed loudmouthed and arrogant and so on. And I was sort of chatting to him and thinking, you know, they do seem to be right. They really do. And then he suddenly kind of blurted out, because my problem is everybody absolutely hates me. And you could see how miserable he was. So, I don't believe in first impressions at all. I think they're nearly... Anybody who says they're nearly always right is a liar. And a bad one. 11.
How far did you deserve to lose your driving license?
Oh, I'm afraid, clever thing, you know all about it, don't you? I'm afraid I deserved it thoroughly. There's no excuse for driving while under the influence of alcohol. In mitigation, Your Honour, I would say that I was on a motorbike, and I'd had this vague idea, culled from ignorance and massive stupidity, that somehow on a 125 motor, stumbling along a little bit tipsy, you're not going to do anybody else the kind of damage you can do in a car. I think I can fairly honestly put my hand on my heart and say that I certainly wouldn't have got into a car and driven over the limit, because, you know, one feels cars you can really do so much hurt. But with a motorbike, it's yourself. I had a cousin who used to be a doctor in the Roosevelt Hospital in New York, and he came to see me once in a play, and I met him in a restaurant afterwards, and he saw me checking in my skid lid, as we leather boy bike called them. And he said, oh, I didn't know you had a motorbike, Steve. And I said, yes. He said, oh, do you know what we call motorbike riders in the casualty department, or trauma department, as they call them in America, of the Roosevelt Hospital? I said, no, what do you call motorbike drivers? He said, donors. You're spare parts, kid. And I suddenly thought, oh, Christ, he's right, isn't it? You know, all that young, healthy tissue that goes down the drain because people drive motorbikes badly. It's just awful. But I loved doing it, and in London you basically got to. But I was an arse. I was an arse, and I deserved to lose my license, and I did. And I certainly, I don't think there's anything satisfactory with people being smug or proud about driving when over the limit. It's bad, 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 and I'm terribly sorry. 13.
What have you ever stolen?
Oh, for goodness sake, you haven't got time to hear that. Blimey. I was kleptomaniacal, I think one might say, if I wanted to give it a decent Greek word, but one could say otherwise a thieving sod. When I was young, I stole from shops, pointless things all the time, you know, pneumatic drills, well, not drills, but, you know, braces and screwdrivers, and I just sort of pile them up somewhere. I had no use for them. I stole, far too much, really, and of course, most disastrously, I stole some credit cards when I was a 17-year-old and enjoyed a little time at Her Majesty's pleasure in a prison called Pucklechurch. On the strength of it, if there's anybody on association at Pucklechurch at the moment watching television, I hope you're all well. Sorry about the riot you had recently. I shan't come to the next Old Boy until everything's sorted out and you're all happy and cosily tucked up. Give my regards to B-Wing, by the way.
Fatal Attraction? I almost sued when that came out. I mean, that could have been made about me.
You were persecuted by a one-night stand, were you?
No. Silly. No. I went to bed with Glenn Close, though.
That's ridiculous.
Yes, it is ridiculous, yes. Went to bed with Michael Douglas.
You went to bed with Michael?
Well, in a sense.
In what sense?
Completely made-up, untrue sense.
Yes. Well, I've been to bed with Michael Douglas in that sense.
Really?
Well, nibbled his toes.
What was it like?
Great. He was very sensitive and caring. Yeah.
Now, please select a new category.
What have we got here? I wonder what those mean. I wonder, what does power and glory mean? It's quite exciting. Power and glory.
Please choose any number.
4.
What went wrong with your last project, Look, Look?
I thought you'd ask that. If I may say so, that's a bugger of a question. It was a play. It's a play. Plays do go wrong. Plays are difficult. It was about an audience looking at an audience who were looking at an audience looking at an audience. That's literally what the first half was about. And it was very complicated, and people were confused by it. People were worried, I think. They felt got at. And I don't know, it didn't take. I don't know how you can answer a question like that. It was a good play, I mean, by a good writer and well written, and it was a good cast, and it was, I think, reasonably well done. It just didn't capture the public imagination. Number 10.
How successful are you in the eyes of your parents?
I think they'd all like me to do more and better things, but I think they're proud of the things I do well. My father would like me to do something more serious, by which it doesn't necessarily mean not funny, but something that addresses real intellectual issues, something that grapples with real thought and so on, more than, you know, larking about and saying the word bottom rather a lot, which, you know, in the end, when you've got parents don't want to hear you just saying bottom and knob all the time. Now, personally, I can't hear enough of the word bottom or the word knob. I think, you know, they're just fantastic words and very, actually, very funny. But there comes a time, I suppose, in everybody's life where the word bottom is not enough and they have to start thinking about real things, and I think they'd like me to reach that stage sooner rather than later, put it that way. Number 1.
How patriotic are you?
Immensely patriotic, but let's not run away with the idea that patriotic is the same as jingoistic. In fact, let's not run away at all. Let's stay precisely where we are. But patriotic does not mean love that is blind. Now, a parent loves a son, a partner loves a mother, but they're not blind to the faults. They want them to be better. A mother can have a child like my mother had me, who was feckless, flamboyant, evasive, childish, selfish, arrogant, all kinds of awful things when I was young. She didn't stop loving me, but she was also completely aware of those faults and would want me to correct them. And people who love me would say, you know, just sort your bloody ideas out. And that's how I feel about England. Here, 9, is it? Sorry, 9. Eyesight.
You are a Dalek. Who do you exterminate?
I used to be able to do it now, can't I?